We've talked about what to pack for a trip to Disney. Today, we're going to talk about what to actually take into the parks. A lot of that's going to overlap, but there's going to be some items that we haven't mentioned before. And so we're going to talk about that. This is episode 18. I'm Sariah.
I'm Aurora.
And together, we're just your average Disney travelers. Okay, so if you're at the hotel now, we've gotten on the plane or across the road trip and you're at your hotel and now we're getting ready to go into the parks. Maybe you're packing your bag the night before, maybe it's the morning of, whatever. There are different items that you might want to consider, some of which you'll have obviously thought of yourself and some of which maybe you haven't. Before we get to that though, Disney has in the past, and as always right now, everything's a little bit different, but in the past, of course, there's always been security. Well, not always, but in recent years, there's been security, but there's often been a line that kind of skips all the bag checks. There are some people who choose not to carry a bag into the parks, and to have to wait in the line with the bag check is really frustrating for them. And so they like to have that line to skip because there's no bag to check. There's no reason for them to have to wait behind everybody who's getting all their bags checked. And so we'll talk first about that. People who are not taking a bag into the park, what would you bring with you then? Obviously, it's what you can carry in your hand or in your pockets, and you're probably not going to want to be carrying something in your hand your whole day. So most likely it's things you can fit in your pockets. These are the bare essentials. What do we need to go to the parks?
Your phone.
Yeah. I mean, these days you do. It's kind of like, there's a time where you didn't, but these days you really kind of do, because that's where you access everything. I suppose it's technically possible to not have your phone with you.
Yeah, it would just be very difficult.
Yeah.
You'd have to carry like pamphlets to actually know when things are happening.
Yeah, if you didn't already, if you weren't already familiar with the parks and didn't already know like show times and things like that, you would have to have maps that you can get at the front gate, and the show times, which also you can get at the front gate. And you would have to have your tickets, actual physical tickets, or if you were at Disney World, Magic Bands. And then you would also have to have some form of payments if you were ever planning to purchase anything, whether it was food or merchandise or anything while you were there. Yeah. So really you want your phone. What it comes down to is you need a smartphone.
Yeah.
You can get away without it, but let's be honest, if you're watching this, you're probably technically aware enough that you have a smartphone. Okay. So
probably.
Again, this is another no-brainer. And this kind of goes along with that, but you'll also need your keys. I guess it doesn't really go along with that, but anyways, yeah, keys. So if you drove, your car keys, obviously. If you're staying at a hotel,
you're gonna want like a bus ticket.
If you're using
like a shuttle, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
I still have some of our old shuttle tickets.
And there's different ways. This is a different topic, but when you're at Disneyland, using the shuttles, they have where you can just purchase it as you go and you just pay when you're on the shuttle, or it's more financially, it's less expensive to just get like a ticket that goes for the whole week you're there, and then you can ride it as many times as you want instead of paying $3 every time you get on the shuttle. And so you'd need your ticket if you were using the shuttle. So your room key, your car keys if you drove, or a shuttle ticket if you took a shuttle. Maybe you walked, so you won't have any of that. That's fine. But anyways, definitely a room key for wherever you're staying. Anything else you would personally add to that if you were only having what you could have in your pockets?
I don't think I would add anything else.
Okay. For me personally, and I've mentioned this before, I always have a little chapstick in my pocket.
I never use chapstick.
You don't have to. That's okay. I know, yeah. I do. So I always do. And then I also might, because I get headaches so easily and I get nauseous on rides so easily, I probably would have a little baggie that had a couple ginger pills and a couple ibuprofen or something like that, just in case, because that's common for me. But that's stuff I could stick in my pocket. And that's probably, if I was going in for a no bag day, that's what I'd have. My phone, whatever key I need to get to my car or my hotel, and then those couple little items I'd stick in my pocket. Now, For me personally, I don't usually ever really do the no bag option unless we've already been, it's most of the day, we're only going in the parks for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
Because when you're only going to be there for a few hours, you really don't need much more than that bare minimum. You don't even need to worry really about water because you can get it free from the quick service restaurants. And with that short a period of time, I don't worry about having to recharge my phone. But if I'm there for a whole day and I don't expect to take a break in the middle of the day or go back to my hotel for any reason, I need a bag. Personally, I do, because my phone's going to run out of juice and I use it enough that I really want to have it charged. So I'm going to need my phone charger, and that means I'm probably going to have a bag. Also, I like to have other things. So if you're going to take a small bag, a small bag's not your big backpack. It's not a big, huge diaper bag or anything like that. It's just a purse, and I use a crossover, so my hands are free, or maybe a small drawstring bag, or even fanny packs. I hear fanny packs are coming back in style. Would you wear a fanny pack?
It depends on what it.
The style, what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a small bag, in addition to obviously the things we talked about, the bare essentials, now we're going to add more. What would you put in a small bag?
We already kind of mentioned this, a charger.
Yeah.
Because
those little banks, and you can get little tiny ones, but they won't charge multiple times, or you can get bigger ones. I actually happen to have one of mine right here. This is the one I use the most. If you're not watching, then you won't be able to see this, but
it's huge.
It's large, but it's not the biggest I've seen, and it will charge all of our phones probably more than once. So that is something that I personally like to have with me. Let's see. I also like to bring some snacks. We do get snacks in the parks, but it's fun to have a couple of things in your bag if you have a little bag.
Yeah, you usually carry.
I do.
Basically all that kind of stuff for me.
Yeah, so you don't really have to. If I wasn't there.
You also have a bigger purse, because your purse is like, I don't know.
Just an average purse size.
But I have like that little Marvel little person. It's like as big as like
a cell phone.
Yeah, like your phone, which is a Google Pixel. It's big.
Yeah.
It's a big phone, and it's about the size of that.
Yeah.
And so you can't fit much into it, but you can fit your bare essentials. You can also fit a charger in there, so that's nice.
Yeah. And also a small charger. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I may or may not bring like my water bottle holder.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't hold that. Not both of them don't hold that much
of extra items.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are specifically because we know that you're with us and you don't really need to carry everything. So yeah, Roy has the water bottle holder. You can see, you've probably, or maybe you haven't, but you can look them up online. They're just nice. They've got a strap. It's a shoulder strap. We use it as a crossover again, so your arms are free and you don't have to worry about it falling off or anything. But yeah, and it just holds a water bottle of varying sizes. So whatever your water bottle is, most likely it would fit.
Isn't it also what's the
word? I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
That's like look at. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Describe it in another way. Cozy, like a insulated?
Yeah. Insulated.
I don't remember, but you can. Even if yours isn't, people could get them insulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So anyhow, okay. So we have the charger, we've got snacks, water we just talked about. In my crossover, I can usually put a bottle of water in there. So
I also just use yours sometimes instead.
Yes, she does. Even when we're not at Disney. And you're going to right now. Great. Okay. We've talked in the past about gum. Gum is not available for purchase in the parks. So if you like to chew gum, make sure you bring it yourself, because you can chew it. Just you can't purchase it. And also
I can't right now.
Well, if you have braces, you can't chew it.
Which is sad, because I used to have lots of bubble gum.
This too shall pass. You will not always have braces. And so some gum, just make sure you throw it away in the garbage. Yeah. Don't be one of those people who makes it, proves why Disney didn't want to sell gum to begin with, because it's so messy. Just be responsible. Okay. Another thing. How about you do that one?
Trading pins.
And we talked about this again before. We'll talk about this many times because Rory likes them.
Yeah. I actually have like this actual like sort of little handbag, not a handbag. It goes
It's
over
another
shoulder.
crossover.
Yeah, it's small,
We
but
sure like crossover
yeah, I
bags when we
have.
go into the
So
parks.
if I had like all three, I'd be wearing three. So
She
that's
doesn't
like,
wear them all three at once.
yeah.
She usually has one, maybe two.
I usually have two because I have the trading pins. And you can't really put anything else in it.
Yeah.
And so then I'll have like one bag, and then I don't bring a water bottle. I'll
Use
use
mine
yours.
or dad. Yeah.
And so then I just had that small little marble one.
Yeah, which is just fine.
Yeah,
Totally
I did that
perfect.
last time.
And it's still small items and stuff. But yeah, trading pins if you want to trade, and then
Yeah.
and those don't have to be in a bag. They can be on a
Yep.
lanyard, or I've pinned them to a hat before, or if you're wearing a
That'd be cool.
vest or something like that, you can pin it to that. Just be
You can do all of them.
if you want to bring a bunch, you could do all of the above. Okay, and then finally, again, I mentioned like my little pills I bring. That'd be something I would have probably a little bit more of that for sure if I was carrying a purse. Well, I do. I always do. When I have a purse, I have a Ziploc baggie full of druggies for me, all my headache medicine
Yes,
and
bring
nauseousness.
all the drugs.
I bring up my ginger gum, my ginger candy, my ginger pills. It's kind of crazy, but it helps, so it's worth it for me. Okay, so now we're moving on to the larger bags. Now, say you have a backpack, or maybe you've got a child, so now you've got a stroller that has a bottom that stores a lot of stuff. So some way that you
That'd
can
be
carry.
handy.
It is handy, and when we've traveled with people that have strollers, it's quite convenient to just be able to stash things in their stroller. Yeah. It's also quite convenient not to have a stroller to begin with, because strollers can be hard to maneuver and store and park and all that stuff. But anyhow, for whatever way you have it, whether it's a stroller or a large bag of some kind, now we're talking about other things that are more for extra convenience, but aren't really necessary. They're just nice to have. And especially if you have kids, obviously. If you have kids, you most likely have a larger bag, even if it's just a backpack. Okay, so what should we start with? Do you want to
bring an extra sweater, because at night it can get pretty cool.
It can, especially if you've done anything with water.
Oh yeah.
Or if you're going to do anything with water, meaning like one of the night shows that might have water spraying, or if you've ridden a ride that has water and you've gotten a little wet, Splash Mountain, yeah, something like that. So certainly a sweater, and it does drop down when the sun goes down. It kind of cools off a bit and might get breezy a little bit. So for sure, sweaters. Okay. Also, and now we build on, if we had a little bag, we'd have maybe a snack or two. Now, if we had a larger bag, we might bring some fruit or actual whole lunch. So more food items. And that varies. We do a little bit of everything. Some trips we do more bringing in food, and some trips we do more purchasing there. It just kind of depends on the trip and who we're with and what our mood is, really, to be honest, where we're staying, all those logistical things. But if we have a large bag, see, these are the things, like when my husband's coming, we make him carry the backpack. If he's not here, we just make do with whatever small bag will work.
His backpack also has it's a camelback, so it has that big thing of water. So we then
when Ryan uses the camelback, then it has, I think ours is a very large bladder. It has 100 ounces of water, which is really nice. So that's and then even still, we will top it off halfway through the day with some water from the quick service restaurants. Okay, what else would we maybe put in a larger bag?
Like an actual camera.
Yeah, if you want good quality photos beyond what your cell phone will take.
But no selfie sticks.
Yeah, no selfie sticks. Disney has banned selfie sticks. They did this a few years ago. And it's really kind of too bad, because if people would use those things responsibly, it'd be fine. But then people were kind of rude about it. For one, they'd kind of hold it up where it's blocking people's view. But then they were also kind of dumb. They would use it while they were on roller coasters. Not safe, not a good idea. So it's banned. No more selfie sticks. If you try to bring one in and they see it in your bag, they're going to confiscate it. So don't take it. But cameras, yeah, you'd put a camera in. Then, and again, if you're having a large bag, most likely you probably have a bunch of kids with you. And so, or a few kids, maybe even just one kid, but you're going to need whatever you need for your kids. Diapers, an extra change of clothes, maybe a few toys, whatever they need, their blankie, something. But you know what your kids need. But if you've got a larger bag, now you have room for that.
Yeah. And also want to add on to this, and this doesn't go just for kids.
Yeah.
Because I do this too. I have some little fidget toys, like fidget spinners, which is really I'm trying to remember that one. It was a big trend for a while.
It was. It used to be a huge trend. You still see them.
Yeah, every once in a while. I remember I saw mine in my desk a couple days ago. So now I'm just sort of every once in a while be like,
Pull
woo.
it out and fidget.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like, they're very helpful because
there's a lot of waiting at
yeah,
Disney.
and I can be a pretty fidget person. I mean, I'm like my leg
Is
is
fidgeting
bouncing right now. So like, yeah, it's just very helpful for those that tend to be a bit more active or just likes to be more fidgety.
Need to have something to do.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers busy or something. So yeah, that's a really good. And those are great because they're so small. They'll fit in a small bag too. You don't even need to have your big backpack or big bag for those. And then last of all, just like, maybe a few first aid items. We've talked about the first aid stations before, and that's important to know. You don't need to pack Band-Aids and medications and things like that. But if you know that there's a likelihood of those things, it is nice to have a couple of those basic items on hand if you have the room to bring it, because then you're saving time. You're not having to go and find that first aid station, go and get checked in and wait for them to give you what you would need. It just is quick, immediate. You have it on you. So if I have a large bag, I usually do. I usually have just a small first aid kit and maybe a little bit of sunscreen in the summer to reapply our sunscreen. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What else? Now, if you were going with a group of friends, how would any of this change? Like if you were, or if maybe you and your older cousins were going in, and because once I believe it's 14, you
Probably
can enter
a whistle.
A whistle? Why a whistle?
Well, I don't know if like one of you like get kind of like, kind of separated, and for some reason like if
a whistle.
Yeah, because then you can like if you have like a certain like you have a certain like call or something.
I
then
guess
you can be like you hear it and then like, oh wait, that person's. I don't know. That's what that person
is.
There's
so much going on in the Disney parks. I don't know if that would actually be super practical. I would hope that if you were with friends or cousins or whatever, that you'd each have a phone to reach each other.
Like the Wi-Fi is not good, so you have to use data, and sometimes that does.
Well, I mean,
not
even
go
for
through.
I'm talking even phone calls. You don't need Wi-Fi for phone calls.
Well, yeah, but again, it could be.
Yeah. So okay. So some way to alert each other if there's an emergency. How about if you're going into the park without your parents and you're supposed to be with your friends or cousins, you don't split up. That's all there is to it. You stay together.
Sometimes you kind of get.
Then you might not be ready to be in the parks without your parents. Okay, so
I'm just saying.
Disney, I think the age is 14 that you're allowed to go in, or it's either 14 or 15 that you can go into the parks without an adult. And so you wouldn't be able to do this if you had obviously kids that were younger than that. They need to have an adult with them. But yeah, once you have your kids reaching about Rory's age, you could actually, if we are with your aunt and uncle and cousins and maybe the adults and the little kids are like, what, we're gonna stay, we're gonna take a nap or whatever, and you guys want to go back to the parks before we're ready or whatever, and so those are good. That's something you want to have a plan, I guess. Maybe what it is you need is a plan. If we get separated, let's meet at
this place.
Yeah, so that's not something you bring into the park, I guess.
Or I guess you'd probably want multiple places depending on where you get separated, like where you're closer.
I would just have one for each park. But anyhow, it doesn't matter where closeness, you'd get to wherever you need to be. But what items would you bring in? So like if you didn't have your parents there.
Okay, I got that part.
Okay. What would you bring?
I don't know. Probably, I don't think I would bring anything else. I mean,
you would stick with those essential things that you would do even if we were there.
If I had a larger bag, maybe a book. But then again,
a book to Disney?
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Like, you've read books at Disney?
No, I haven't, except for ones that Dad bought me a book while we were there that was signed by Marty Sklar, and I didn't read the book, but I looked through it because I was excited. But I don't.
Well, you also took Lost of Our Son. I just assumed you read books. I don't know.
Not into the parks.
It's just nice.
So you would just bring your phone. You would have really just that in your park ticket, whatever you needed for that based on wherever you were. There was nothing extra.
Scrunchies.
Okay, there you go. Scrunchies. Extra scrunchies. Why do you need scrunchies?
Because I don't like my hair being down when I'm moving a lot, like at Disneyland, because it gets tangled in everywhere really fast.
Oh yeah, and on roller coasters.
And it makes a big tangled mess. And
like if you got wet and then went on, you got wet on Splash Mountain and then on Thunder Mountain. And
then I'd also want to bring more than one just in case I lose one.
Okay, yeah. Or some people like to do two braids or ponytails or something.
Off topic, but it's at Everest expedition. Everest. So many hair ties when you get to the part where the track gets all broken
at the top.
Yeah, and then you're sitting there. There's so many hair ties.
You gotta think, oh, well, I guess because it changes direction, maybe things do blow off. I was gonna say, you gotta think people are throwing them.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
because that's
your hair doesn't. It's going backwards. It's going against your head.
Yeah, probably.
It doesn't just go.
Don't intentionally take off your scrunchies and throw them onto the tracks or ride or anything. I mean, don't throw them anywhere.
But I mean, I don't know exactly unless it was a braid. I guess if it was a braid, then it could.
Yeah, because it'd be on the end, and if it all of a sudden flew forward.
Yeah, I was thinking more of a ponytail. If it was a ponytail, it wouldn't be challenging.
Off. Well, I did not know that, but. Anyways, that's a good tip, though, to bring some scrunchies. If you're a gal with long hair or long-ish hair, that's a good tip. Bring scrunchies. Yeah. What anything else? Something I forgot to put on our list that we haven't talked about yet, and you don't necessarily need to put in bags necessarily, but I always bring sunglasses, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's always sunny, and then you're not squinting.
Oh, yeah, and then a hat.
If you like to wear a hat, I don't usually wear a hat.
Sometimes it depends on the outfit and what I feel like.
Hats can be a great way to shade your face
for sunscreen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple Marvel ones, so it's also it'll still Disney hats.
So they match. And so the sunglasses might sometimes need to be packed, but probably don't always need to be packed. So anyways, okay, so anything else? I'm glad that you added that scrunchies to the list. I didn't think about that.
I think that's it.
All right. So we would just be aware of what your options are, what your needs are, and then have your bag. If you can get away with doing it without a bag when they're having the no bag line, that sure saves a lot of time when you're getting through the security. Right now, like I said, I don't think that matters so much, but when it goes back to less COVID concerned, they're not taking temperatures of everybody going through, then that might be something to keep in mind.
I think it was when we went with my cousins,
the Heinz.
Yeah, where some of us just gave some of the others our bags, so some of us went through the no bag line.
That is a good strategy. So what we did, we were a couple of families together, plus my mom, and plus at some points another aunt and uncle, and so there were a group of us, and so we would have 2 or 3 or 4 of us take bags through the line, and then the rest would go through the no bag line so that they could quickly go and get in line at the gates. And this was usually, we like to go before the park opens. So there wasn't a chance of them getting through before us. They were all just waiting. But then that was holding a place for us in line, so that once we were through with the bag check, we could just go to them, and maybe that's cheating. I don't know. But,
Technically not. You're not carrying a bag while you're doing it. So you're not breaking, it's not cheating.
We don't think it's cheating.
I don't know why it would be cheating.
But anyway, so that's a good strategy too. So if you need to have bags, but you're getting there early, have one person hold all the bags, the other people go get your place in line, and then you still get to quickly get to your location in line by the front gate, and you still get your bags to carry whatever you need for the day. So, okay. Well, so some of those are things that we obviously mentioned before about what to pack. And also worth noting, this list is obviously going to be different than what to take on a Disney cruise or things like that. These are for Disney parks. This will be interchangeable though, what we mentioned today for Disney World or Disneyland. So hopefully that's helpful. Anyways, thanks for joining us again. We've had fun. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
We're good. Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you.